to our live trading room here at Admiral Markets. Good morning on this 7th of August, Wednesday. I hope you're looking forward to this trading session. Together with me, we're going to take a look at a mix of things. Contrary to yesterday, we were only looking at swing trading, and tomorrow when we only look at intraday trading. So if you're more of an intraday trader, please come back tomorrow. Even if you're a swing trader, I hope to see you tomorrow though. All right? So before we look at the markets, of course, we always go through this quick 5-slide PowerPoint. For example, to explain this risk disclaimer, explaining that trading foreign exchange on margin and global financial markets in general are considered high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this video and webinar is for educational purposes only. So thank you for your attention on that one. Once again, welcome to our live trading room here, hosted by Admiral Markets, of course. A fantastic broker with great spreads, and you're going to see that live with in our trading today. As I already said, today will be all trading. And by the way, we have educational webinars on Monday and Thursday, 5 p.m. London time. So you're going to see me trade my own money, and we're going to take a look at different trading styles, especially breakout strategies. Make sure to follow Admiral Markets in the social media, Facebook and Twitter. And with that said, we can move on to the calendar and take a look at what kind of news we're expecting today. Well, we have a Swiss CPI. This is London time, 8:15, I believe, so that's 30 minutes from now. Then we have Bank of England inflation report at 10:30 UK time, which is still a while from here, but that could make it a bit more tricky to trade the pound, or maybe better stay out of it, because that inflation report and the governor speaking is definitely something that could influence the market. We actually have Fed Chairman Bernanke speaking later today, but I also think we have a news announcement on the Aussie, in fact, on the employment and unemployment as well, and I think a yen monetary statement. So that's something we want to be aware of as well on the yen. Let's move to our charts. Alrighty. So on my list this morning, we of course can take a look at the euro and pound, euro dollar and pound dollar, I should say. I'm especially interested though in the euro odd dollar. I would say those are probably my two favorites at the moment. There could be some potential on the odd New Zealand, the odd Swissy, New Zealand Swissy, CAD Swissy, pound odd, pound New Zealand as well, euro New Zealand. But the thing is that they are quite some of them are quite similar in their setup. So if we look at one, for example, if we look at the euro odd, the euro New Zealand isn't going to be that much different. There's just going to be some slight differences, of course, because the odd New Zealand is moving logically, but still. So we can shop around and see and compare and pick the best one. Yesterday, unfortunately, I had a euro CAD on my list. That would have been a lot better than the dollar CAD, for example, that I chose. So sometimes it does matter and it does have an influence. Euro CAD would have been actually a great one. It was on my list. I unfortunately don't know why I was looking at the dollar CAD more than euro CAD. But we'll look into that and review those ideas of yesterday on the euro odd, euro CAD, and dollar yen, and go through that as well. Okay, because it's always good to learn from the past and compare that to what happened. But we're not going to do that right now. We'll do that later, of course. First, we're going to take a look at the opportunities. Now, because we're going to be looking at kind of all angles here in a way, I'm going to add a pivot point indicator, the Camarilla here, and see what that says for us, okay? For the lower time frames as well. I see that this chart I haven't used yesterday. Just adjust that a bit. Yesterday we had that continuation up and a slight move above 133, although with ups and downs. The currency didn't go too far. It went to 132, 133.20, I should say, sorry. But maybe because we broke that big 133 resistance, more upside continuation is possible today on the euro dollar. Then again, it is in its tight zone in its entirety. If you look at this view, the up move is slow and tedious. The 886 was respected, the 886 fib at 133.40. Then we have another major resistance at 134.15. So there's quite a lot of resistance there to box through. Let me get rid of one. We'll get rid of this one so we have a bit more space. Alrighty. So let's take a look at the 4-hour world. You can see we broke yesterday with a lot of pain and effort, broke above that 133 level. The bullish candlestick, we can take a look at the day candle as well. How was that? Day candle bullish, engulfing, close near the high. That is more bullish signal, as I was already saying. 4-hour, you can see that recently move up. Price is above the moving averages as well, above the trend channel. So there is reason to think that we could continue up. Is it a place that we like? Not really, right? Not that fantastic. 1-hour chart. We have a trend line. We could connect the tops right in here. So a break of that trend line could be a breakout trade. In that case, it would be something like right in here, trading that gap. Okay. Something we can keep in our chart. Let's take a look at the 50-minute world and see what the pivot points are telling us. Let me try it on this chart. Let me take off some of these objects, make it a bit cleaner. We'll start again, and we'll add the pivot points here. I think I know why I don't see it. Probably the text. I have to change the color of the text here probably. Let me try that. Properties. I don't see the text here. That's a bit strange. You see the text is white. That's the thing. Does anyone know how to change that by any chance? Grid. I was using a black background on my other chart, so I didn't notice that. But for you as viewers, I want to use white because, in my experience, white is the best for you because black is, I'm looking at black and I don't think it's that visible. I can change the bars, but sorry for the delay here. Does anyone know how to change the text color here? Let me try this otherwise. Yeah, I'm in properties. Double click on the text. Okay. Yeah, but it's indicator. That's the problem. It won't pop up. So I can't click on the text because it's an indicator. It's actually part of an indicator. So that's the problem there. Well, otherwise, I'll just leave it on black just for the, just bear with me here. And we'll just look at the values of the indicator. And then we'll just head over back to our white background chart. Okay, let's do it that way. So a lot of lines here. Not sure if anyone uses the Camarilla indicator. But you can see that on this euro dollar, the pivot is around 132.90. We have a R1 at 133.20 and a H3 resistance at 133.26. Then a R1 at 133.40. So there's a lot of resistance here. Now, basically, we're looking for longs, especially above 133.47, as you can see on this indicator, which ties in with the break of this bigger top, right? That makes sense. Anything there is still very tricky, even the break of that trend line I have there, because we're running into all that resistance. So a move down would be different. Let's take a look at that option. We can see a L3 at around 132.84. And basically here, we zoom into the 5-minute. Let's see, L4, so below 132.60 would be the shorting area. All right, and that's below our trend line as well. So that ties in to the technicals as well, and they're confirming each other. So the longing area on the euro dollar is more above 132.50, or if it were to dip down between 132.60 and 132.80, and shorts, speculate maybe a bit early shorts still in my opinion, but you know, only below basically 132.60 at minimum. So that's good to know. Now I'll move on to the other chart so you can see a bit better. I'll take this off because let's see, Alcana is helping me here, highlight indicator. The funny thing is I just got horizontal line properties here. No, it can't right click on that indicator somehow. Well, I can go to the indicators list. Maybe that's one way of doing it. Here, good. Found it. Thank you so much. Okay, cheers, Alcana. Thanks for that tip. So we can get back our usual white background here. The problem is, though, that only that one word has changed. Okay, so it's a bit of a headache. I would have to do it one by one, apparently. That's too much work. So we'll just leave this one black for the moment. For that indicator, okay? Sorry about that. So we know the levels here on the euro. Let's move on. Any questions regarding the euro? Does that make sense? It's pretty straightforward, I think. It's just pretty awkward, tight consolidation, and there are certain levels where the currency could become interesting, but not right here. Anyone want to add something? As always, of course, be aware of yesterday's high. You know, there are a lot of levels here above us that that are important. Okay, in that case, let's move on. Let's go to the pound and let's see what the pound has to say to us. Or let me go. We'll look at the pound in just a second. Let me, in fact, let me take a look at the Aussie and the euro odd because those are my primary interests, to be honest. The euro odd, I took the trade yesterday that I was talking about. It's doing pretty well. I took it on a 15-minute break of this fractal right in here and targeted this trend line. That was a good 72 pips, I can show you. I took it on this account as I promised this is a demo account. Excuse me, wrong account. There I am. So I went in at 147.69 and targeted 148.40 for 71.5 pips there. Okay. Now that was pretty good. That was a pretty good accurate target because we respected the trend line in a way. Adjust it just a bit like this, something like that, and you can see we retraced yesterday and are now pushing up again. Right. So on a different account, I already entered here. I was up 20 or so pips. So I think this is a good break of the trend line. I think it's has a potential to continue with this uptrend like that. If you look at the 4-hour chart, for example, you see the oscillators back to the zero line, and the retrace could be finished here, and we could see some upside continuation to break this top. That's very likely, in my opinion. We probably see some up, then down, because this top will not break immediately. It is a resistance level, and then the next push should bring it there above that top. So it looks good to me. The only question is where and when to enter, in my opinion. In this case, I think that an entry above 148.60 makes sense, because then we're breaking the 1-hour resistance right in here, and the stop loss I think below this level at 147, below 147.80 I think is a good combination. Now, the very safest stop loss is somewhere in here, but I think that this level should be sufficient protection at the moment for continuation to the upside. There is a bit more risk here, but I think it's marginal, and I think considering the pips that we save between those levels, which help, of course, increase our R2R, it is worth it. All right, so I'm willing to take a bit more risk here because the stop loss is smaller. So that's the trade idea I have. I'm going to punch in those numbers in a few seconds, but I want to take a look at the Aussie first before we do that. Oh, by the way, Alkana is saying that he wanted to take it yesterday, but on the 4-hour charts he saw and had it in shoulders. That's a very tricky topic, because what you're going to see in trends, if they continue is often enough, you will see something like that, and a wave 4. That's always very tricky, because the thing is that when you have a pretty big impulse, an uptrend like that, and you see a retrace like this, and the first move up like that, often you have something like a potential head and shoulders. It's so often you see that because of the fact that it has to do with the market structure, because you have a wave 4 here and a wave 5. No, sorry, excuse me, I'm talking nonsense. A wave 3 here and a wave 4 here, and then 5 where I have it. And then what happens is that either this is the finish of the correction, where I have the blue arrow and it's upside continuation often enough, or sometimes you do have the occasion where this is just the blue arrow is just an A of the ABC correction. This is B, and you do go down for C, and you would have that head and shoulders. Now, I would say that most of the time the upside continuation happens more. I see so many head and shoulders that don't really materialize in the trending situations like this. There are a lot of potential like that. Many of them don't pan out, I think, personally. That's my personal opinion. That doesn't mean we don't have to be careful at maybe a resistance level like that. But if we're trading it in here, it's still far away from that level anyhow, if you see my point. Plus, trading with the trend at good spots is always a good thing. You don't want to go maybe long right at we're pretty close to it, in fact, but anyhow, you still want to be careful. That is true, but it wouldn't hinder me from taking a with the trend trade there. especially if I look at the power that it has here and the oscillator here. So that's my opinion. Okay, cool. Yeah, indeed. You could take it from the bottom to at least the shoulder, for example. It could be one way of doing it. You know, if you feel uncomfortable with that head and shoulders, that would be the safest to do. And you know, for your own trading, that would be the best. Me personally, because I don't kind of see this as a, well, I see this as a trend. I see it as a strong impulse. I see a break of this very likely without breaking this bottom here. So for me, that chance of this head and shoulders playing out is small because of those factors. So I'm not that uncomfortable with that. Let me say it this way. The Aussie is also in a great break spot in my opinion. We still have one support level at 98.50, and I think if we break that, that would be a good trigger for downside. Now let me explain why, so that you know what I'm talking about. The stop loss would be above the 90 level, 90.03. So that's a swing trade I have in mind as well. I'm going to punch in both of them. But I'm going to explain why I think that's a good trade. First of all, we had a good momentum here. We hooked back to this resistance level, broken support level back to resistance. And we're getting a pretty good pullback. We had rejection bars here. And we're kind of making a mini base right in here. The oscillator is back to the zero line. So very important. The minimum retracement has been met. The 382 was missed just by 15 pips. That's okay. Good enough for me. So if we break that mini support on the 1 hour and 4 hour charts at 89.50, that to me would signal the end of this correction of this massive downside. And then the likelihood of continuation of the downside is high. But only if we break 98.50. Anything right in here is still a bit tricky. Now if you caught the top, that's great. And Ray did that. He's rating me today at the 90 level. That's awesome trading. Great catch. And I think that, I don't know where your stop loss is, but that should be you know, the next thing you want to see is a break of that 89.50 level, and you're all set. There is still, at the moment, still a potential of maybe hitting that 382. You never know. Once we break 89.50, that support level, the chances of hitting that 382 are slim to none, I would say. At the moment, they're still viable. So if I'm not sure where your stop loss is, Ray, if it's a break even, or let me know if you want to dive into that. But so that's my trade plan idea. Basically just a continuation trade, waiting for the smaller short-term support to break and give, and then catching that trade. My target would be, I'll split it probably. I'll go for a 2-to-1 trade, which is probably aiming at 87, probably aiming at this 272 to be honest here. All right, that's one of the targets, and then the other target is the minus 618 at around 85.70, and the minus 272 is around 87.25. So that is approximately 220 pips, and 220 and 89.40 is 370. Now the minus 618, I'm not going to hold that trade to the target. I will trail stop it on the 4-hour fractals. All right, so I'm going to trail stop that. Anything else I want to add? Let's take a look at the day chart to see what that says. We had a bullish day yesterday. So the 89 level still could be a bit of support, but in this case I don't think it will give much more than a bounce. So it's interesting. If we're going to break right now, we can see some downside momentum on this lower time frame and retrace. But if you look at the moving averages, the price is now right at the moving averages. So it could be back at support. On this lower time frame, there is a potential. You can see we're back at the 89.50. Price moved back towards the moving averages as well. There is a potential for a bounce on the lower time frame. Would I want to bet on it? No, personally not. I wouldn't want to trade it to the upside because the upside potential is limited. I think it's counter trend. I'm not too fond of those trades. I'd rather let the upside be and let it go and concentrate on the downside. Okay, so I'm going to punch in those numbers now so that you can see the exact numbers I have at least. But if there's any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I assume everything is clear. You could take one of the two. If you do, for example, it's always your decision, right? If you take a trade or not. And what you want to be careful of is if you do take both, make sure that the total risk is equal to the max risk or lower than what you have specified in your trading plan, right? In your risk management plan, just as an extra warning. Just out of curiosity, is there anyone interested in this trade? In these trades, I should say. Or if you're not interested, why not? Why are you not interested? And I'd be curious in your opinion. See what you think. Okay. Okay, got some feedback there. That's great. Got a few people interested. That's great. Let's see if we get the break, of course. That's something that could happen now. It could happen later. This case, difficult to say. I would say probably, I wouldn't think all too long from now, but you never know. Time will tell. I'm going to take this 1 hour view and zoom in. Why 149 kind of on the euro odd? Just out of curiosity. So I'm going to check what the spread is here on the euro odd. It's wow, that's great. It's fluctuating between, I think, 1.5, 0.3. So that's very little. Of course, that's the great thing about Admiral Markets. So take a look at that if you haven't, if you're not trading with Admiral Markets. I mean, euro odd 1.5 pips is in fact quite amazing. Amazing spread, to be honest. I doubt it that you would see that anywhere. I've seen spreads on the euro odd anywhere between 5 and 10, just to give you an idea. So I will go, I'm going to go 2 pips above this 148.61.5 level, which means 148.635 plus. I'll just make 2 for the spread just in case. It's 1.5, but so I go to 148.655 in my case. I'll just make it an even 148.66 maybe. And I'm going to go with the stop loss below 147.83, which is 147.77. There it is. Let's see, I'm going to punch in, I needed to take profit still, sorry. Take profit. I'm going to aim for I'm going to aim big in a way, or big, I don't know, but I'm going to go for the full target, let me say that way. Sometimes I aim for a conservative target, although I know that many times 272 does get hit. But I'm going to aim for that one now. It's the target in my case is at 151.80. So I'll go I always like to go a bit lower than that, so I'll go for 151.60. So if you see anything different, just let me know. It'll be interesting to discuss. If you have a contrary opinion or something you want to add, please, or want a question, please do so. Alrighty. Let me get rid of something here. Okay. Now, let me type in those numbers for you. Not sure how I can do that here. Okay, I hope that's clear. Send it. Does everyone see that? Those are my levels. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you have to take it once again, just to emphasize it. It's just what I'm just showing you clearly what my numbers are. Alrighty. So it's about a 3-to-1 trade, isn't it? Roughly calculated. That's good. So I'm going to punch in the Aussie, but before I do that, I'm going to take a look at what Kana has told me regarding 4-hour chart here. Kana is saying to retrace the previous big down candle in the 4-hour chart. So bear with me, we're going to take a look at the odd, and then we're going to jump over back to the pound and euro. If you're more interested in intraday trading, hold on there with me. To retrace the previous big down candle in the 4-hour chart. Not sure. 149. Let me put that blue line at the 149. Okay. $149 is right there. We have the light blue line, which I don't see the candle you're talking about. There's a candle here. So you're looking to short it there, Akana, at 149? That's what you mean? Buy it there. Okay. Not sure why 149 though. It's not visible on my chart. Let me say, you could have a different broker, and you could see, depending on what candles you see, there could be differences indeed. To me, the key resistance is a bit lower in my opinion. So that could be the difference there. Also, in fact, where you're buying it is exactly the point where you were mentioning that the head and shoulders. So maybe you changed your mind because of my explanation, but realize that 149 is actually exactly equal to that left level there. So you might want to go, if in that case, if you want to buy it at 149, you might want to go maybe just above 149.06 in that case. Maybe, just an idea. Swing trading, there I see that yeah, that's what is the definition? Well, it's a way of trading where you try to seek a good opportunity or two within the day or week that has a potential to travel for a while, but you do close it within a decent time frame, you know, using the 1 hour, 4 hour charts, trying to grab a R2R that has a bit more meat to it, a bit higher. For example, on intraday trading, it's difficult to grab something above 3 to 1. Sometimes 2 to 1 is already pretty good, right? So swing trading, the advantage there is that you have the ability to target easier your 3 to 1 situations, like this case, or even higher sometimes, right? Depending on the situation. There are some cases where I target 6 to 1. It's not easy with intraday trading, I think, unless you know, maybe you can. That's great. So you're trying to basically have, I think, intraday swing trading where you're just swing trading within the week, right? So you take a position on Tuesday, close it on Wednesday, Thursday, and you have bigger swing trading where you even hold it over the weekend, and you can keep it up to maybe 2 weeks or so. So I hope that helps, or let me know otherwise. Ray is saying that a competitor of Admiral Markets has 3.5 pips on Euro odd. So thank you for that information, Ray. That's great. You can see the difference there. More than half of the spread. Okay, so good to know. Let's move on to the Aussie. I can see that things are traveling here, so I have to speed it up a bit there with the entry. Quickly, let me see pending order. I'm going below that support of 148.47, so let me check the spread here. That's less than a pip, seems to be 0.6. So I'll just go sorry about that. I just quickly open a new chart. Just bear with me for that. All right, so I'm going to just go a few pips below that, so that you know, and the stop loss below above 90. Okay. Above 90.03. Alrighty. Let's see. I take profit. I am going to put a fib on here. I'll aim for the. I'll probably just stick to one trade here. I'll just aim for the 87. 87. I'll go for 87.56. Oh, sorry about that. I got these lines mixed up again. Alrighty, that should be good. Oh, that's annoying. I hope I'm back. I'm looking at the Aussie dollar. Does everyone hear me? I lost connection apparently for a second probably. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Not sure how to spell to pronounce your name there. Probably I'm saying it wrong. I used to say Ray. It's R-A-J. I don't know how to. Yeah. Is it Raj or Rai or Raj? You see, I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry about that. Do apologize. Was one of those last three correct? Raj? Okay, Raj. Okay. Ah, great, 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 great. Perfect. So, just for those who are interested, I'll just punch in the numbers I have. Yeah, it looks like it's pushing indeed. So I have entry order short Aussie USD 89.46 or 84.59 to be exact. Stop loss 090078 and take profit at 87.56 564. So those are my numbers once again, and the decision is yours. Let's see, the take profit is almost 200 pips there, just shy actually, 190-ish. Stop loss is 60. So here too, just a bit tad more than 3 to 1, and that's, I would say, quite conservative in a way. I mean, you could probably add a few pips there, close to the 272, or even go for the 618, but I like to go for conservative targets there in general. And it's still more than 3 to 1, so that's good. So let's see how that goes. Let's move on to the pound. Pound seems to be moving down. Interesting. Took a long time. We were kind of, looking for that downside yesterday, right, on the euro and pound, and dollar strength on the dollar CAD, dollar yen. I said the euro and pound are iffy. What happened yesterday is that we basically were looking at the pound right in here, moving down, right, and saying, well, we have to break that support. That's good because that prevented us from taking that trade. And look, we got a spike up and hit the 886, and then moved down again, started to make a lower high here, and in fact broke that triangle. Then we hooked back to it, and now we're moving down. So it was a bit too early yesterday. You can see that sometimes it takes long for currency to turn around. It's not easy. That's why, taking a turnaround trade is always tricky because of this. And we in fact avoided that, so that's good. That's good, because that could have been very tempting to trade based off the 786, and avoiding that because of filters such as patterns and price action is just a bonus there. Anyhow, the breakout of this orange line was with a wick, so very mediocre at best. Couldn't sustain that breakout at all, and we're moving down. So maybe some more downside here. Let me take a look at the indicator, Camilla pivot points. But I would say the fact that we broke again a lower low could mean that we could make some more downside here. From a technical point of view, I would say we have good space to fall. All right. The next support level that could be interesting is here, or maybe here as well. Yeah, you can see there's a channel. That's potential. I had this trend line on my chart to see if we could break that. We didn't. We actually respected it. Actually, those two trend lines meet at the point where the currency bounced off, funny enough. But the channel, I don't know if it's a real channel. It's more of a triangle. This is a channel that broke, if you mean. No, you probably don't mean that. We have a lot of trend lines here that we can put on our chart. We had this triangle that had a false break to the upside, and we broke that triangle now to the downside. Oh, you mean this? Yeah, that's broken indeed. Yeah. The pound upside really depends. What time frame are you looking at there? Yes, broken retest indeed. Indeed. 886 respect. Even if this is upside, and this is a correction, and we're moving up, then we could see a correction to test this bottom before we move up. That's why I like the spot in general, because of that probability. Irrespective of, in a way, of the long-term analysis, even if the long-term analysis is up or down, that downside seems likely. Now, the only question is, indeed, do we go after up for more upside, or do we then fall? So up to the blue circle seems quite a likely path of the least resistance there. So that's why it's interesting. But to answer the question regarding the long-term analysis, to me, yeah, it's a good question. To me, this seems like, if you really want to take a look at that, this is more like a triangle that was broken here in the beginning of this year in May. If that triangle break right in here, we've had a three-wave correction, and then a continuation of the impulse, and then a correction. So it could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're getting now a wave 3 of wave 3. In that case, we could have a lot of downside. So that's also possible. Upside is possible too, by the way, but then probably the correction is being expanded. This is then an A probably, B, and we're going up for C. In that case, we just had A of C, and we're going down for B of C probably, or this was B of C, and we're going now for the green C. That's possible. The only thing is that I kind of dislike about that is the B here, which is quite impulsive. Bs are not that impulsive normally, but it's possible. Yeah, so we have to see. We have to keep an eye on those major levels and see which one plays out. So going back to the 1 hour chart, there's definitely some support still somewhere in this area. Let's see where we can get confidence maybe from the Camarilla indicator and see what lines up there. Oh, how did I call it? I forgot. This one. Good morning again. Welcome. Good to see you here. We got trade setups on the Aussie, or I have on the Aussie, and I have trade setups on the Aussie dollar and euro odd. Odd dollar to the downside, euro odd to the upside. And now we're looking at the pound. Yeah, we're breaking the L4. In fact, that is a bearish confirmation. We're breaking the support level, so that ties in. We definitely have that downtrend here, slope, respect to that line, so it really confirms it. Target is pretty close though at the L5, 152.90. So it's a real intraday trade here. We're a bit late, sorry about that. We're looking at the Aussie and euro odd because we're breaking. Actually, we can still take a look at the 5 minute. Yeah, this hook back would have been perfect, in fact, for a 30 pip there. This indicator is called Camarilla indicator. It's very good for intraday trading. We'll use it when intraday trading very intensively tomorrow. So far we haven't really used it because maybe because I'm more of a swing trader myself. So that's why. Alrighty. So there's not much space. It's a different type of trading, as you can see, right? So it's Camarilla indicator. Basically, the L3 is where you could think of longs. H3 is where you think of shorts. Above H4 you think of longs, and below L4 you think of shorts. Personally, considering the target and considering the risk, it's a bit tricky. Maybe we'll have to use even the 1 minute chart. Oh, here we're a bit extended on the 1 minute. So I'm just adding fractals here. Sorry about that. I deleted my own fractal. Somehow I don't see it. Visualization. There it is. Alrighty. Want to see just quickly where all the resistances are. Let me take a look also at London Open and the Asian session as well for more info. Let's see, all the way at 153.60. Wow, the Asian session had a pretty good runner there. In fact, don't see that too often. Interesting, big move there. We just broke the Asian low by 8 pips. That's typical to get a bounce off at 8 pips. Remember, right in here, small bounce up. Okay. I want to know also the last 5 minutes before London. move 28 pips to the downside. Yeah, that's a good move. It's tricky. Probably looks bearish right now. Personally, I would rather see it retrace a bit closer to this fractal. I'm used to using fractals for stop losses. So I'm not sure how Toronto would handle this. Yeah, that's just, I'm a bit more conservative. I would rather wait for maybe somewhere in here to get a better stop loss there and a bigger reward. But looking at price action, I doubt if we can get there. Looks like we're going to fall right there. It probably was a good enough retracement right in here, but that's the thing with small time frames. You have to be pretty quick. 153.12, that would have been 24 pips. See, I don't like the reward to risk here at 153.12. The stop loss above 5 minutes here, 20. It's a 1-to-1. It's okay, I guess. It's doing pretty well, but I like the higher R2Rs there more. Well, anyhow, the decision moment is gone. Okay, that's nothing you can get back. If it were still to pull up, then it could still be okay, but we're getting closer and closer to the target. So once we reach that target, that trade setup here is over. All right. Probably the best would have been just an entry right at the breakout, to be honest. But we unfortunately saw it a bit late because we're looking at the Aussie and Euro odd. Next time, all right, we'll concentrate on this more. That's the problem when you look at multiple things. Probably the best would have been the entry order. So I'm not sure if anyone took that. I was hesitating too long, as you know, but it's doing pretty well. Good stuff. Alrighty, we can still keep an eye on it if it does retrace, but otherwise there's nothing much to look at the pound. Let's move on. Let's take a quick look. Oh yeah, the Aussie's falling nicely, I see. Already paid the spread and up 4.5 pips. That's good. Now let's talk a bit about yesterday's trade, just quickly. I know that for some of you that's boring, but believe me, evaluation's very important to learn from past trades. So I hope you pay attention to this part as well. It's just going to be a few minutes, I promise. The Euro CAD, by the way, so it's just a pity I took the dollar CAD because it was really on the list. Right in here, stop loss, break of the fractal with stop loss here, really a great trade, as you can see. Dollar CAD, we had a bit of slower start there, okay? Nothing we can do about that. That has everything to do with the euro dollar pushing up. So the dollar CAD did inch forward, but not as much as that euro CAD. Let me quickly look at, there it is. All right, so you can see it's getting pretty impulsive. Yeah, dollar strength indeed across the board, Graham, absolutely. So it looks like what we were looking for yesterday is finally materializing. The dollar CAD definitely playing out. Dollar yen not so much, right? We'll take a look at that in a second. So I took it right in here, right? With the stop loss below here. And that one inched forward, ready to retrace, bouncing up again, and now finally getting that impulse, just like the Euro CAD. So that was good. And the reason for that trade was an impulse here, establishing a trend to the upside with the oscillator, and a good retracement, and the first break of that correction. All right, so nothing really complicated there. We can talk about targets. Alcana is in it. That's great. I'm very proud. Very happy for you too. Great trading there. We can take a look at maybe a potential take profit as well, by the way. I'm not sure if we discussed that. I think we did, but now that if you're still in it, probably aiming for the daily resistance here, which is equal to the minus 272. I think we talked about it at 104.40 was the target. Indeed, 104.27. Exactly. Yeah, we did talk about it. Now I recall it. Now I recall talking about it with you guys and girls. So that's pretty close. We're 18 pips away from there. Great stuff. Let's move on to the Euro odd. I took that one as well, based on the break of this fractal. I took it on the 50-minute world in this case. Why? Because it got such an overextension for the downside. This downside overextension on the 50-minute world happened at a place where we had such an uptrend that a break of the 50-minute fractal was, in my opinion, such a high likelihood of an impulse up that I took the trade. And if you see at the 1 hour world, you can see we're back at support here, back at the moving average, back also at the 4 hour support right in here. So that had a very high likelihood, in my opinion. And you can see a break of that fractal, boom, right to the trend line, 72 pips in the pocket there. And on a different account, I entered again upon the break of that trend line because I knew that the trend line was probably going to be respected. We're going to retrace. And once we're breaking here, I entered again, not on this account because I didn't talk about this trade with you, but I have I have an entry order here, right? And I'm in this one on a different account. That's the Euro odd. Now also we can talk about the dollar yen because that didn't go as planned. And that's probably even more important to discuss actually. This is the fib I had on the chart, and I was looking, if you remember, for a bull flag and break. Now that's the reason why price action and price patterns is so important, because I didn't take the trade because it didn't do what I wanted to see. So I didn't take that trade, didn't lose anything there. I had a certain expectation. If that expectation would have played out, I would have taken the trade, but it didn't play out. We got an impulse bar down. You see that? This was a 40 pip bar for 1 hour chart. That's a good impulse bar. Then a slow sideways price action here. All right. That's not the type of formation I was looking for. If you took the trade, maybe some did. I know that Raj took it here. He says it's it's not that it wasn't a bad idea, by the way. So if you took it, don't feel bad, because you took it at a place where there was potential support, and we had 4 hour engulfing twins there at a potential support, at a daily support as well, as you can see. So there are many reasons in a bull flag. So there are many reasons for that trade, and many good reasons. And I think if anyone took that trade, it was still a good decision, in my opinion. All right. The only difference is that hourly support, it made a lot of sense. The only difference is that it wasn't, there's just maybe just a tad difference what I was looking for. As I said, the difference is the price action on the 1 hour chart and the chart pattern I didn't see. And that was the filter for me to be careful on the lower time frames. The higher time frames were well in place. That's the only reason. So yeah, that's kind of in a way just a lucky for me in a way, or just kind of an extra bonus for me, because I think it still made sense. It's just that I was able to filter it out with those two things. Just kind of lucky there for me. Okay. By the way, if we would have made it up, down, and then up, then I still would have taken the trade upon the break of the next 1 hour fractal with a stop loss below the lowest fractal. All right, that's would have been the other option besides a clear 1 hour price action signal. Basically, I didn't take the trade off the fibs. That's what it boils down to. I didn't see a clear 1 hour signal here in this 4 hours, nor in the downside, of course, logically. Didn't see a clear 1 hour signal, and I didn't see the 1 hour break of the fractal. That would have been the second option. Nor did I see a bull flag on the 50-minute world. So those three things I was looking for didn't happen. That's why. Yes, indeed, Adrian. That would have been the safer trade, indeed. That's why fibs are good, but I primarily focus still more on breakouts. I do use fibs for certain entries, but more breakouts just because of these reasons. Because when I was starting out and as my trading career proceeded, I noticed that I got caught sometimes in these things, and they do add up sometimes, losses like this. So I like the more extra confirmations indeed. Alrighty. Let's take a look at the euro dollar again. Seems like the euro dollar is entering the long area, but we know that there's a lot of dollar buying, so that could be a bit of a caution there. Let's take a look at the pound. The pound is getting close to our target there. What's happening with our to trade? The euro odd is a few pips down. The odd dollar is 11 pips up. Okay, goody good. I suggest looking at other pairs if that's okay with you. Just do a roundup, move on to something else. On my list was also odd New Zealand. So let's take a look at that. That continued down. Yeah, it's looks like I took this trade yesterday evening, late afternoon, kind of towards the end of the London session, based on the break of this trend line, and targeted actually 113.20. I took those 60 pips there. That was a good trend line break, and what I was looking for now was maybe a hook back to 113.50 still, but it's still pushing down, so we'll have to see. I'll move on to another one. It doesn't look like it's going to happen now. Let's take a look at, let me have a list here. Let me just put some X's to the ones I already talked about here. Okay, basically, as I said, the pound odd, pound New Zealand, euro New Zealand are very similar to the euro odd, but we can still take a look at them. So here we have two trend lines. I want both because both could be a potential break, but I still want to be aware of the top trend line as well, because that could still be resistance. And I'll color them a bit different. I'll color the top one red. No, it's not. That's not that visible. There we go. So here too, it was a good break. In fact, I think looking at this of the trend line right in here, that was a break of this area. So this was a hook back. Looks like a break, pullback, and now we're getting continuation to me. I like the euro odd more though somehow, but it is something similar. The Euro New Zealand will also show something similar. Wow, a lot of spikes there. What was that? Probably old price data there. Here too we have a trend line like this. That's not breaking at the moment though. Not yet, at least. Pound New Zealand. Yeah, that's something like a trend line like this. That's a bit difficult. I wouldn't put a trend line there because it's a bit rough. I wouldn't say that the touches are that neat there. Looking at the fact that we're back at the moving average here, we could see if we do break above the 1 hour fractal at 149.53, that would be a key level in my opinion. Okay, 194.53. Stop loss would have to be below. I'm not sure. I'm probably not taking this trade myself though, by the way. But that would be, in theory, the idea. The 1 hour break and a stop loss below. That could be the bouncing spot. And if we break 149.53, we're making a higher high here already. And we can see that upside on the pound New Zealand as well. Does that make sense? Where we had a massive impulse, pretty good correction. So once we break on a lower time frame to the upside, we can see that continuation. The target, I would target the top. I wouldn't target the target. In this case, not, because of the structure of the pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand is a bit iffier than the euro. It's less trendy, surely. So I'll be definitely more conservative with the target there. Okay, that's the pound odd, pound New Zealand, euro New Zealand. The New Zealand dollar, by the way, I mean, we looked at the odd dollar, so I don't think it's that important, but New Zealand dollar could be doing the same. Oh, it didn't break the support yet. But here too, we could be breaking this trend line. So that too seems to be set for fall, but I like the Aussie a bit more. That has to do probably with the odd New Zealand as well, because the odd New Zealand is moving down. So if I had to choose between odd or New Zealand downside, well, in the odd, New Zealand is moving down. Well, then logically, by that process of thinking, odd dollar makes more sense. Now there is still variations of Swiss C we can take a look at on my list. It's the 1 hour chart, and you can see here a break of that trend line as well. Maybe a bit iffy trend line, but still decent. And it looks like, well, the break was kind of iffy. This is not what I would say a good break, because yeah, it's okay. I guess it's not. It's decent. The thing is that it still respected this support level, so that would be good to crack. Looks like we are respecting the break of that trend line there. So maybe it is a break, pullback, continuation, but I would still be leery. Wouldn't use this level here, but I would use that 1 hour level just a few pips lower at 982.78. So once we break that level, we could see the fall here. The looser stop, the more safer stop loss is above here, of course. The tighter one is where I have the stripe with the number 2. Just to give you an idea of the stop loss areas. Let's take a look at, yeah, we can take a look at the pound Swiss too, surely. Let's do that right now. Maybe I have the pound Swiss open already. Most likely I do. Let me take a look. Must be somewhere. Oh, here it is. I just find the pound Swiss to be quite interesting and unique in a way. Just looking at why is that so? Just looking at this whole area looks so funky to me with all those wicks at the bottoms and tops. It just makes me laugh. It's quite unique in my opinion. It's just a funny formation. Nice top trend line there. Nice bottom trend line in a way as well. Nice downtrend channel. Broke out of this upside already a long time ago. Then we had a massive sideways range here. Just a quick recap. It's always good to walk things through. And at that resistance line is where we stalled. All right, as you can see. So quickly we can establish that. So maybe we're back at resistance and we're moving down from there, indeed. In any case, even if we move down for more up, there's still plenty of space to the next support level at 140, right? That's the day chart. We broke yesterday's low already, so we can move on to the 4-hour chart. We're making higher highs, lower lows and lower highs. So that's good. Definitely bouncing off that resistance with some momentum. The oscillator is back to the zero line, indicating that the retrace could be ready, could be finished, I should say. Very strong AO reading with this downside. So that looks like downside, correction, downside. The question is how far the downside. It could be to here, or it could be all the way to the break of that bottom. Both are possibilities. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. We cracked this the support levels right in here on the 1-hour chart, as you see. So probably would be okay to, let me take a look at the 15 even. Probably would fib this entire move down. I was just a bit tempted to take it from here, but I think that's a bit riskier. This seems to be a clear swing high, or okay swing high, swing low, just like this. I don't think that looking at the 1-hour time frame as well and the 4-hour time frame, I don't think any upside should break this resistance level. That's the safest stop loss. This is a bit riskier. Here again, we have 2 levels of stop losses that we can think of. We're now moving up. One aggressive way of taking it is the fib itself. As I said, that has its risks, as we saw in the dollar yen. Another way of doing it is looking for a turnaround price action signal here, or the least riskiest, in my opinion, is to let this go up, go down, up, and take the next break of this fractal with the stop loss above this fractal. Or a price action signal, right? So for example, here we had a price action signal. But this move up definitely looks like it's moving up back into resistance. You can see that on the 15-minute world, that this is definitely a retracement. Price action is a bit bullish now, but that should be a retracement. But not something I would necessarily trade, right? I'm waiting for that confirmation. If you are a big swing trader, then if you look at the 4-hour chart, I think an entry right here is valid, but then I would use a stop loss, yet again above this 142.70. All right. If you use this as a stop loss, an entry right here could be valid. In fact, upon the break, why is that? It's a break upon, it's entry based upon the break of this 4-hour fractal where I have the green line or a green circle and green arrow. That fractal break right there. Stop loss above the opposite fractal. It's a 4-hour trend trade there. Stop loss is approximately 75 pips. And the target would be two to one, which means 150 pips, which would mean we're targeting this bottom basically, right in here. So any up move here should be a retracement, and in fact is a discount compared to the entry below the 4-hour fractal. The entry below the 4-hour fractal is at 142. If it were to go to the 618 fib at 142.36, we're actually getting a 36 pip discount there. So, and we could still use the same target. So that would be in fact, 142.36. That's in fact a 30 pip stop loss, and we're targeting 140.50. That's 180 first. That's a 6 to 1. I think I'll even, I'm going to even punch in that order. I didn't want to take any trades because I already have 2 trades on, but I can still take one more trade. I like that. So that's a good heads up, Arcana. In fact, I like it that much that in this case, because of the 4-hour world, I think I'll just even punch in an entry order at the 50 or 618 fib. So this is one of those cases I do use entry order. I'll go for the 50. Who cares about those 2 pips? So I'll go for an entry order at the 50. Oh, thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. I forgot about that. Well, the thing is that this trade setup would qualify in a way anyhow, because it's a 4-hour world, and basically 4-hour trades, I don't really look at news events necessarily, unless it's NFP, of course, or interest rate. So, but yeah, it's definitely a good point though, Ian. Please be careful in a way because there is big news. I think it's, what time is it? 1 hour, 20 minutes from now. So that's something you have to consider, okay, if you feel comfortable with that. I'm not sure. 1 hour, 20 minutes? Really? Oh, then I must have the wrong time zone. Let me change the time zone. I think I have European time zone. So that's good. Thanks for that warning. Second warning there, Ian. I'll have to change it. I want to have this zone. That's strange. Change the time zone, but it's still saying 1 hour, 20 minutes from now. Oh, the time zone doesn't matter? So why do I have 1 hour, 20, I wonder? And Ian has 20 minutes. I wonder what the difference is there. Huh. Remus is saying 1 hour 20. So not sure why that is so. Yeah, UK time is 9:09 indeed, 9:10. So still a while from now maybe. Do you have the right time zone there? Yeah, there's a column time left indeed, Remus. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at, Remus. That's what I'm looking at. It's just because of Ian. That's why. Oh, Ian, that's the confusion. GMT is 1 hour behind UK at the moment. It's actually GMT is actually 8:10 now. So that's the thing. It's 9:11 in the UK, and GMT is 8:10. That's because of summertime. It's British summertime. It's a summertime. GMT doesn't move. The summertime in Britain does move 1 hour ahead. So indeed, that's the difference there between us. So it's indeed 1 hour 20 minutes from now. Good, good, good. So we solved that. Yeah, that's always tricky. I'm tempted to take it. Then again, I don't like really how pound can sometimes really spike a lot during a news event. So it does make me a bit leery, I have to admit. And I'm kind of balancing on two feet here in a way. Part of me says entry order is nice because of the 4-hour world. It's clearly a discount compared to my 4-hour AO strategy there. Then again, if we get a spike up, maybe I can get it a lot cheaper. Maybe I can get it at the 786, for example, would save another 30 pips. Or maybe I get a spike down and I miss the trade. So that's always a bit of a take and a give there, and that's really a decision only you can make, as always, of course. I'm not sure yet, to be honest. I'm not sure if what I'll do. I'll have to think about it a bit more. What do you think? Let's do a poll here, just out of curiosity. First of all, are you interested in this trade? Just out of curiosity. Again, if yes, write a Y. If no, write an N. And if you are, irrespective if you're taking it, if you're interested or not. So we have 3 yeses, 1 no. The next question is, again a no. Okay. This question number 2 is irrelevant if you take it or not, or you want to take it. Do you think that you would wait, even if it's a 4-hour trade, would you wait for the news event? Yes or no? Would you wait? Yes. Would you not wait? No. It would be interesting to see. So John Dill says no. I will wait, sorry. Adrian says no. Rage says no. Greg says yes, would wait. So we got 2 waits, 2 no's, 3 no's. Ian says 4-hour not. It's interesting. We got 4 no waits, 2 yes waits. So the no waits are in the majority. It's probably would be my tad my preference as well. It was my original thought as well. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. Moving up pretty aggressively, bouncing off that S2 pivot, in fact, and missing that L5 target. So if you're in that trade, you might want to click it out. I don't know. If that news so close, I wouldn't stick an intraday trade there. But with the aggressive bounce up like that, I would take it off right now. Let me take a look at some of the factors right in here. Yeah, I think that looks good. It is a pretty aggressive price action bar right here, but I think I'll make the trade. It's anyhow based on a 4-hour world, and the 1 hour, really the 1 hour entry is just a trigger chart, to be honest. It's not the analysis chart. So if it would have been the 1 hour chart, it would have been different. Adrian, if it goes over the weekend, would you stick with the swing trade? Normally, typically not that often, but there are some cases I do. It depends what type of swing trades you're seeking. If you're using the 4-hour world, then you would have to probably. 1 hour world, most of the time, not. Because I don't take any trades on Friday just because it's Friday, and also because of the fact that if you take 1 hour swing trades, you could have that risk of having to keep it over the weekend. So I don't usually take 1 hour swing trades on Friday because of that. But if you use 4-hour charts, you would be confronted with that indeed. Like this one could have that potential. So I'm going to put a pending order. We'll take a look at the spread here. I'm going to go to 142.83 stop loss. I'm going to go for the 50 fib at 142.24. And I'm going to target the minus 1,000 at 140.80. That's where the 886 is as well. So that would be the trade. That's it, folks. I'm going to round it up for today. I hope this trade is clear, and wish you good trading today. Let's take a quick look what the Aussie and Euro odd is doing. Not so good, the Euro odd I see pulling down a bit, but there's plenty of space there to maneuver. Odd is up a few pips. Yeah, thank you too, Bogdan. Have a great day too. Wish you all good trading. Any questions? Maybe we can still quickly look at it, otherwise I'm going to wrap it up for today. And hope to see you tomorrow. We're going to take a look at intraday trading on Thursday, the 8th of August. The Aussie trade, Ian, is it's basically taking the break of this 1 hour low at 89.47, putting the stop loss above the high there at 90, above 90.03, and targeting 87 minus 272 targeted. Let me take a look exactly. 87.50, 87.56. So it's basically a continuation trade here. We had downside. This was a correction, and I'm anticipating downside continuation after the break of the support here. Yeah, no problem, Ian. No problem at all. And one last question here from Darshan regarding the euro-yen. Yeah, the euro-yen, so a lot of trend lines here. Kind of avoided that today because just for me it's not that clear. Nothing I would like to trade at the moment, so as you notice I didn't talk about it. But let me get rid of all this. Yeah, it's difficult. I don't know exactly. To be honest, it's a 4-hour world is a downtrend at the moment. Maybe on a weekly chart, it's going back to support. Day chart, it broke support here. There are maybe some key levels just a bit below here. I think the major level is around here at 127. There could still be some downside pressure to that level, I would say, but it's not something that I find interesting to trade at the moment. So I'm just in a wait and see mode, to be honest. That's my opinion. Pound Swissy entry price. The entry price I have is at the 50 fib, which is at 142.23. 142.24. Stop loss above 142.77. I have it at 142.83, and the take profit at 140.80. So that's a 60 pip stop loss and 140. Oh, that's a bit. Somehow I had a bigger risk reward in mind, but okay, still not bad. Alrighty, thanks for the questions, and once again, have a great trading day, and see y'all tomorrow. Okay, cheers, everyone.